Welcome to episode 6 of 4 Shot Podcast, where we discuss all things HCS and some things Halo. I am your host Phelan, and with me tonight, I have my co-host Fade.
Hey, how's it going? Busy for me with the move, but hope you're doing well.
Yeah, knee is finally starting to feel better. I can sit comfortably now, so that's always a plus.
Absolutely. Did you have a bell? Like, did you have roommates or anything? You just ding the
No,
bell and they bring you
no,
stuff?
I at the leading up to the surgery, I had a female roommate, but we split ways, so I lived alone and had to just deal with everything myself. So there was a lot of crawling around and scooting on my butt to get things
Yeah.
done.
Was it you watch House Cards? Doug
Not let's see.
Stamper?
I
Yeah.
watched all of the Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, which was amazing. I watched all of Daredevil, which was amazing.
Did you watch all of Netflix?
Close.
Yeah.
All
All
right.
right then.
Yeah. Moving into some Halo information. Let's see. Current rosters. I don't think anything has changed that I'm aware
Yeah,
of.
I don't think so. I mean, we touched on the other guys and stuff like that last time, so I don't believe, and we didn't find out about Contra's team, so I don't think there was anything that really happened, which
Yeah.
makes sense because it's there's no the transfer period's closed. I mean,
Yeah. I guess the one thing to touch is Ninja's team is officially called. Well, for now, is officially called the other guys. You're still waiting to see if there's gonna be a esports org to come in and officially take that team over. Personally, I hope one does not, and Ninja gets punished for his comments and he learns from his ways. But that's just my personal opinion on the matter.
yeah.
Um, and then let's see. I was gonna mention something else, and I completely lost my train of thought. I don't know. Must not have been important.
Guess not.
Oh, I heard a contra rumor that he
Oh, you did.
potentially could be going to the Suds. Just we might see how that plays out.
I don't think so because yeah, that was the one team change. Reality Check picked up Domi today,
Yes.
so. So maybe
But
that
I don't
didn't
know.
happen with Contra again, or maybe they're gonna.
I don't.
I don't
It
know.
might be coming down the line, but I heard from someone who was at a LAN with Contra that
Oh,
may
so
be
this is like
coming down.
real intel.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, it could have been a joke at the LAN. I'm not like the kid I was playing with. I'm not really familiar with him, so I don't know how serious it was. But it was brought up at the LAN that Contra may or may not be teaming with the Sud. So that may be coming down the pipeline. Who knows? Hashtag Intel.
Cool. Cool.
See how it plays out. So then we can move right into our amateur team of the week spotlight. So Fade, take it away.
Yeah. So I guess it was planned to be amateur team of the week spotlight, but no longer. It is now no longer amateur team of the week spotlight, which was excellence. And as you guys are going to hear later, we actually have an interview with Coby from Team Excellence. But yeah, that's Coby and Unlegit are the two like that carried over from Atlanta. Um, Wolfmane and Swiftkill are through some. Well, Wolfmane is now working at 343, so he can't compete. And Swiftkill, actually, you know what? Let's skip. I don't know why I'm talking about this. Coby talks about all this, but needless to say, Excellence. They were going to be our amateur team, but they did really well in the online cup, finished in that 5-6 spot, and now have the 8 seed going into cup number 2. So. I know we predicted them a few events ago to do pretty well, just based on some of their online placings. It's a pretty new squad. They haven't played together too long, but and after this finish, I mean, I think we should see good things from them, and they're definitely one of the teams that should be able to compete for those 7 and 8 seeds all year.
Yeah, for sure. I we'll get into it maybe a little bit later when we talk about how the tournament played out, online Cup 1 over the weekend, but I am expecting them to possibly break top 6 going into eventually going into the finals. At least based
Yeah.
off of their current play and their potential.
Who that 16? I'm assuming Optic.
Yeah. After
Okay.
they beat them 3-2 this weekend in the consolation bracket.
Hmm.
You know, that's a
Yeah,
big
there's
win for
definitely
them.
always that option or that possibility. So I guess it really depends on how much Optic practices. I mean, if they practice, I feel like I'm always going to go with Optic there. But if they're not practicing that much, I wouldn't be surprised if Excellence, Noble, the other guys, Active Rush, any of those teams that are Annex, one of those type of teams could slip in there and actually finish in the top six going into the season two finals.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the points right now, uh, Excellence, Noble, Optic, and Counter Logic are all within 100 points of each other. After that, Winter, it's kind of a big jump up to WinterFox and the rest of the big dogs. And I would expect CLG to do fine the rest of the season and them to not falter. So I wouldn't expect them to break into the top 5 unless they have a huge indie tournament and get some major points there. But I could see them, working hard on the online cups, doing decent at indie, and be able to definitely take that 6th seed from Optic going forward.
Yeah, they would have to. They'd have to probably. My guess, they'd probably have to finish around top four at Indy if they wanted to like get in that top five, really. But yeah, I wouldn't be totally surprised if Optic didn't hang in onto a top six. I'd be shocked really if they didn't have a top eight going into the season two finals, like if they didn't make the finals. But it just really depends on how much work they want to put into it.
Yeah, for sure. I guess as the saying goes, it wouldn't blow the roof off my house if they happen to
Yeah.
break up there into the top 6. Um, let's see here. Let's move into then some online Cup 1 or 3, or however they're keeping track of it, discussion.
Yeah, officially it is Cup One, and they're only going to have 7 instead of they originally planned 8.
So let's see here. We'll quickly cover Saturday's amateur bracket or the amateur side of the cup to talk about some of the teams that will be moving to the legendary bracket where most of the conversation will take place. So let's see here. Some notable games were in the round of 32. Active Rush won 2-0 against all Draters. Let's see. In the round of 32, other guys went 2-0 versus Green Tempest. That's kind of all what we were expecting. One,
Obviously, the Excellence winning there.
yeah, Excellence also winning in, I believe, 2-0 as well. Yep, Excellence won 2-0 over Blue Team in round of 32.
Yeah, Sunset Ballers with the 2-0 also.
Sunset
they're one
Ballers
of
over
the other
Vex
top
2-0.
top and teams.
Yeah. So a lot of 2-0s, you kind of expected the amateur bracket to be filled with a lot of people who aren't good or aren't taking it seriously, and then you have your legit amateur teams who are you're trying to break into the legendary side, kind of prevailing as we expected. And the one thing to note is let's see, one of the other guys' games against Green Tempest, the one player on the team went 1-17 that Ninja played against.
Oh,
and I was
wow.
like, I know you're playing against
But-
pros, but that's always a rough day when you're pulling up a 1-17 and a Slayer.
It definitely
game.
is. Although he did not get Goose, so that
Yeah, I
there's
mean,
that.
yeah, he did get a kill, so he does have that going for him.
I think.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was just gonna move on. So.
No, yeah, I can wait.
Okay. And then round of 16, there wasn't really anything that exciting in my opinion, so I didn't really capture much going on there. And we'll just look at the round of 8, which kind of, I guess, more or less covers the round of 16 based off of who made it on. So the top 8 in the amateur side who are going to move on to Sunday's legendary bracket are Annex, Darwin's Theory, Sunset Ballers, Active Rush, Glass Animals, Averse Esports, the other guys, and Excellence.
Yeah, what I was gonna say is, I think the only team that maybe I would have expected to see there, just based on how they've done in the last couple of lands and everything, is Element 6, who we talked about a few episodes ago. And I guess they did just make a change also. And Zersky isn't on their team anymore, and I can't remember who joined their team. So maybe they had some problems there, and that's why they made that change. I'm not sure.
I honestly
But,
don't even know if they competed over the weekend. I don't remember seeing their
they-
name anywheres.
Yeah, they did. They lost to. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. I want to say they lost to Averse Esports, but I'm not positive. But they're the one team that I guess I would have expected to see in that top eight that wasn't in it. So,
Yeah, I feel
but
like I would have noticed their name and I must have just missed it.
so then those are they didn't continue on to see like seeds or anything. The seeds for the legendary were based on their points that they had.
Yeah,
So
before we move
that
on,
was basically the end of open bracket. It was only two rounds each. Oop.
yeah, before we move on, let's discuss that. I don't
Mhm.
agree with how they did that. I feel like the team should have played it out, and had a straight up 1 through 8 ranking for Sundays, to be 9 through 16 for Sunday's tournament. I don't like how they did the points, and it really screwed over Active Rush and
The other
the other
guys
guys because they ended up having to go against Denial and EG
and
in the first
EG,
round of
yeah.
Legendary bracket. When I would say for the most part they're clearly better than those seeds. So I think they should have played it out. I would have to oppose how the current system is set up.
Yeah, I think so. Um, it's just in general, it's gonna be hard for them to like really ever push
Yeah,
out because they're always gonna end up only getting they got top 16 total, so I think it's like 10 points or something.
15.
So 15 points. So they're gonna get the same amount of points every time because all those other teams that are there that moved on to the legendary with them also got the same amount of points.
Or
So it's
more.
like they're never gonna yeah or more. So they're never gonna get like a step ahead, and they're never gonna be playing, Optic or um, potentially CLG, Excellence,
Noble.
Noble, like some of those lower seeded top eight teams because they're just going to perpetually have to be stuck with EG and Denial. And yeah, there's always a possibility that they could upset those teams, but it's a lot harder. And so I don't know. I get trying to reward the people that have points, but you're making it almost impossible for teams to like climb against a different team, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it seems like the way it's set up now, every week is going to be more or less the exact same Sunday bracket, assuming, the
Yeah.
top 8 amateurs move on every week. You're more or less going to see the same bracket, at least in, against the good teams. You're not going to see, Ninja ever, or a Ninja's team ever moving on. You're not going to see Active Rush probably ever moving on. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, assuming they stay as those like the 15 and 16 seeds once going into the legendary, and they have to play Denial and EG, or even like even if they climb like 2 spots and they play WinterFox, I mean, they're not going to win that either. So it's like it's going to be a challenge for them, and I mean, they're definitely one of the better teams, and potentially better than like the 7 and 8 seeds right now, potentially. So I don't know. It's a little unfortunate that that's the way it is. I like I said, I kind of get it to an extent, like trying to reward those with points, but it's also making it so nobody can ever like you always want to have the ability to like climb the ladder, and it's like there's not that in this case really. So
No,
I would like to see them like play it out. Maybe not do like any consolation in the open side, just like have it top eight, top four, top two, or whatever, and first or whatever. Or something.
yeah,
But
something to at least help them, at least divvy it up a little bit. Because as of right now, if it's going to continue the way it is like this, and we predict that they're never going to be able to beat EG, everything for their season is going to ride on Indy. Because if they can't have a huge Indy along with Active Rush, the same thing. If they don't have a huge Indy and potentially, break into the top 8 in points from more or less one event, then they're not going to make the finals just because they kind of got screwed over in the online cups. And they're a
and
team that both of those are teams that potentially should be there that might not just because of, online cups and then have to rely on one tournament to come up huge.
yeah, and talking huge, like I mentioned earlier with excellence or whatever, to if they wanted to get a top 5 seed, it's like just for other guys or Active Rush to get a top 8 seed and even make the finals, they're probably going to have to place third or fourth realistically to get enough points to go there. Because you figure if they get 15 points every event, like what does that leave them with? Like they have 15 right now.
But I mean, even then, like
and
we
six
said,
more. It's they're
15
gonna have like
every
100
event.
total points.
It's
They'll have like 100 total from all nines.
Yeah, but
So
even at 15 an event, they're still losing ground to everyone that's going to finish them above them every
and
time. They're going to
yeah,
keep losing
exactly.
ground to Excellence. They're going to keep losing
Yeah,
ground to Noble and
exactly. And that's what I'm
Annex,
saying. Like,
Reality Check, and it's so on top of them getting the 15 points, they're actually just getting a bigger and bigger gap. And I'm not sure of the actual LAN points off the top of my head, but I believe first place is 500 or something like that, and second place is 400. So after that, they start, the point differential between your placings start getting a lot smaller. So it might even need a better than a fourth or fifth. They might have to be like top four or top three.
yeah. I think top 3
there.
or 4 is like what they would minimum do to make a final if they keep this the whole way. Hopefully they don't. I mean, that'd be really, really sad, actually, if that's the way that they do it, and those guys basically have no chance. And the same goes not just for them. Like, they're the ones because they have the players that have been there before, and they're the experienced, quote unquote, amateur teams. But even for teams like Darwin's Theory or Sunset Ballers or Averse or Glass Animals or Element 6 or any of these other teams that are on the lower end of the amateur right now, like, they don't have many options. Like,
Yeah.
like what are they gonna do? Like, if you can't edge yourself against the other amateur teams to get that good seed so that you can play the 7 and 8s in the legendary bracket, then you're kind of screwed with like trying to break into that top 8.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know. We can only hope that something's gonna change. Otherwise, it's gonna be a rough rest of the season
Yeah.
for Ninja.
Yeah. Yeah, so I guess going into the legendary bracket then.
Yeah.
I didn't get to watch this with Mother's Day and everything. I was off doing all of that stuff. So in the round of 16, we talked about it. EG played the other guys, and actually the other guys didn't even get to play EG.
They did get to play one game. They
played one game.
They played one game. EG ended up winning whatever the first game was. I can't remember off the top of my head. And then Ninja got hit offline. So before we get into this, I want to just make this statement, and hopefully you agree with me, Fade. I don't want to talk about DDoSing. I feel like that's exactly what these trolls want, is us to talk about it and for them to be relevant. So I'm not going to bring it up.
I think we can
after
leave
this
it
point.
at just people got hit off.
Yeah, so I'm just going to say people got, had internet issues, and we'll leave it at that, and that'll be the last time we mention it going forward. That being said, Ninja had some internet issues along with Spartan. He was also having some problems, and because neither of them could really get back on to do a game, they ended up having to forfeit. So on top of getting screwed and having to play EG first round, they couldn't even play EG. And I know the night before, they scrimmed EG, and the scrimmage was either, I want to say it was 2-4, 2-3, 3-5, something along those lines, where it was closer than you wouldn't necessarily expect, and so they had a chance at least going into it, maybe depending on the games and the types that came up. So it definitely, I don't think would have been a blowout for sure, and it's unfortunate that it had to end like that for them. And hopefully, them and a lot of other players that we'll mention going forward can get things straightened out for this weekend and going forward.
Yeah, definitely. So that was that first round with them, and then Active Rush played Denial, and I believe it was pretty much the same story there. Denial won game 1, and then I believe Straight Sick was the one having the internet issues. So.
Yep, this time around it was Straight Sick having internet issues. They once again, they got through the first game. Denial won that first game, and then they kept trying to get the second one going, and they just could never get through it, and ended up having to forfeit just based off of time.
Okay. Then we had Annex versus Reality Check, and this is one of those the 9 versus 8 seed right there. So those are the places where you're going to see some changes, I think, in the lower seeded pro and the higher seeded amateur teams, and that's what we did see. Annex won 3-2. Did you get a chance to see any of this?
This was actually a really interesting one that a lot of people, if you weren't paying attention, might not have known about. So when the first game happened, Reality Check went up 1-0, winning whatever the first game of the series was, and then the second game didn't happen for almost 2.5 hours, maybe 3 hours, and
Wow.
something along the lines of a player on Annex wasn't supposed to be there, or they made an illegal roster move or an illegal substitution.
Oh, I did hear about this.
I'm not entirely sure what happened because I don't necessarily understand the rules of what. I don't really know who was on Annex to begin with or what the rules are around substitutions and things like that. But Reality Check was more or less contesting them as a team and saying that their roster was invalid and that they should forfeit. You know, and for a while, everyone had just assumed RC had won. And at one point, Lethal came into the Suds chat room on Twitch and even said, "Hey, we'll invite you in for the next round. Just give us a minute." And then next thing you know, the series started back up. So whatever the problems were with Annex must not have been an issue, and everything must have been good to go because they ended up playing the series out and it went to Game 5, very close. I believe the Suds were up 2-0, though, winning the second game, and then Annex came back to win the next three and end up taking the series 3-2.
Gotcha. To my knowledge, like what happened is one of the players on Annex was, or at least Reality Check claims that one of the players on Annex used to play for them and then left their team and joined this Annex roster outside of the the transfer period, and so that they think that they should have lost all their points and not had the 9 seed. That was basically, to my understanding, like what it was.
Yeah,
but
no, I couldn't get any information. I kept trying to read the chat and see what was going on, and all the Suds were saying was something about a substitution issue and that the team had an illegal roster, and that was really all I could get out of them.
Gotcha. So then we had Noble versus Excellence, and this is one of the other potential upsets, which did end up happening. Excellence won that. We're not sure on the score.
I believe it was 3-0. If 3-0. I remember what Coby said in the interview.
Yeah.
It was 3-0. Yeah, I really wanted to watch this series. It's one of the ones I highlighted to get a chance to watch, but no one was streaming it. I know Coby tried to stream it and he was having issues, so unfortunately I didn't get to see this one. It made me a little sad.
I guess nobody did then. So
yeah, no one got to see it except for the players. But from what I understand, Excellence ended up winning 3-0 against Noble, which is, technically is an upset. And beyond that, it's 3-0 is kind of huge.
So those are basically the talking points from round of 16. The other 4 matches, I think they were all pretty clear cut.
They were all blowouts.
Sweeps, actually.
There weren't really anything that was.
They're all sweeps. So that's WinterFox, CLG, Optic, and am I spacing? Who's the 4th team?
No, we talked about Reality Check. Who are you missing? Let's see. It'd have been EG, Denial.
Oh, Cloud9. Yeah, Cloud9's matchup. Yeah, they all swept, and so they went on, moved into the next round. So then in the round of 8, the top 8, we had CLG versus WinterFox. That's the 4 versus 5 seeds right there, matchup right there.
Yeah, nothing really stood out too much here overall. They were close matches. WinterFox ends up taking the series 3-1. Nothing really special, so to speak. Like I said, it was kind of overall just an average series. I expected WinterFox to come out on top, especially with Arcanum on their team now. 3-1's right about what I was expecting, especially with CLG not having practiced. Not that WinterFox had, but I just had more faith in WinterFox over them going into the match. So that's right about what I expected to see happen.
And so you think that's largely due to the practice, or do you think WinterFox is a significantly better team than CLG?
I think WinterFox is legit. I think dropping Contra, a player who struggles with teamwork, and picking up Arcanum, a player who is one of the best team players in the game, is huge for them. And from watching the turn, I watched them a fair amount throughout Sunday. They were strong. They look like a team that could easily be, I would say that they're If EG and Denial are top two, then WinterFox is going to be that third team trying to break into that top two. They're going to be right there.
Okay. I mean, they showed that later on. They ended up getting first, kind of.
Well, halfway. They got a half. We'll talk about it when we get there.
So then we had Cloud9 versus Optic, and Cloud9 ended up winning 3-1. Did you watch any of this, or?
Yep, this is another one. Nothing really that exciting. Optic did get a game off of them, which I was kind of surprised about. I can't remember what the game type was. I think it was one of those. It might have been Ball and Lockdown, which I believe. No, they won that one. Yeah, I can't remember, but I think it's one of the ones that.
Maybe it's Warlord Team Slayer, the one that Pistola said they're terrible
at.
Yeah,
that was. I was gonna say I know it's one that Pistola said they struggled with.
Yeah. So yeah, that ended up being 3-1 to Cloud9.
Yeah, and I know the one thing I want to mention, and we'll see it a little bit later when in the semis when C9 played Denial. When they're playing Lockdown Ball, they had a strategy which I hadn't necessarily seen before, and the only way it works is having a god tier sniper. And what they did was they had Ball at back BR.
Was it Hysteria?
No, it was Pistola.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, it was. They had Ball at back BR, like on Close Street, kind of roaming that area, and then Pistola was sniping on Bridge, looking down bottom mid, and then Fear and I think Hysteria, because I think Victory had the ball, or whoever the other two people that weren't there. One, they were more or less both at Sniper Tower, and then forcing the team to spawn bottom blue.
But Pistola's just like holding off the rush by himself.
Yeah, he single-handedly was holding off the rush with the sniper by himself. Someone would come through bottom middle, he would dome them. And if he got a call out that there were two coming, he had nades. And being right there on Bridge, the sticky grenades more or less spawned right next to you. He could just go back, pick up the grenades, and he was able to chuck grenades bottom middle, completely keep the other team from coming over. And like it was just player after player coming through the bottom mid, and he was just headshot, and no one could get across. And they were getting 60+ second chunks at a time because the Optic just couldn't get across. And the same thing happened when they played Denial later. The other team just could not get across. It's one of the more impressive setups and holding of a setup that I've seen in HCS to this point.
That's awesome. That'll be interesting to see how that happens. Like if they're able to implement that at Indianapolis and stuff.
Yeah, I mean it all relies on whoever has that sniper going big, but
yeah,
at least on Sunday, Pistola was he was stepping up with it at least on Lockdown.
Yeah. So then the third match in the top 8 was Denial and Excellence, and as expected, Denial did win, but it was a lot closer than it looks at first. They won 3-1, but it was closer than that. I think you watched this actually, right?
Yeah, I pretty much watched the entire series, and it was 3-1. The first game was a complete blowout. It was 3-0 Flag Shrine, and I think it was over within almost 5 minutes. Like it wasn't even close. Yeah. And then they headed into game 2, Slayer Warlord, and Denial won, but they won 50-47. Like the game was super close. I think it was tied at like 42-42 or 44-44. Like it could have gone either team's way. Super close game. Game 3 was Lockdown Ball. And then Excellence actually took that one by like 40 seconds, which was super impressive. And I can't remember what the fourth game type was, but it was another fairly close one. It wasn't a blowout by any standards. And with Excellence being, at the time, a team coming through the amateur bracket, for them to even take a game against the second-seeded team was huge to begin with. And the fact that they played them so tough through the other games was super impressive. And that's why when we talked about Excellence a little bit earlier, I expect big things out of them coming forward, and I can definitely see them, staying in the legendary side of the bracket and potentially moving up to like maybe 6th spot.
Yeah. Yeah. The other one with an amateur team was the EG versus Annex, and that wasn't so close. That was EG swept that 3-0.
Yeah, that was EG, strong arm, and then just EG being EG. It's exactly what you expected out of that series.
Yeah. So then the semifinal was all of our top 4 seeds actually.
Yeah.
So we had the 2 versus the 3 in Cloud9 and Denial, and Denial won that 3-2.
Yeah. like this was a super close series. I believe they were just trading games back and forth. I'm trying to remember. I think they might have each, kept winning. Whoever had host won the game. I can't remember off the top of my head. Yeah, it was super close, and unfortunately, I think Game 5 came down to Slayer Warlord, and so it's just like, C9 tried their best, but they've admitted that that's one of their worst game types. So for
Yeah.
them to get that into Game 5 is unfortunate. But yeah, it was a super close series. Cloud9 definitely stepped up like I was expecting them to for this tournament. I know I mentioned earlier that WinterFox is clearly 3, and I would I would definitely agree with that statement that I said, but C9 is not far behind, and if they can get their Warlord problems smoothed out, their objective work seemed definitely better this week, especially Lockdown Ball. They seem to be top notch with that. If they can get things going in the right direction, they're a team to watch out for.
Yeah, yeah, they could easily knock off Denial or EG in one of these tournaments and finish first. Just whether or not they're able to do that on LAN, it'll be interesting to see. The other one was the EG versus WinterFox, and that was WinterFox won that 3-2. So
yeah, that was, and this is another super close series. It was 2-2 going into the final game, which was Slayer Warlord. And when I think of WinterFox, I don't necessarily think of a Slayer team. As kind of weird as it is to say, but they have a very aggressive playstyle, and aggressive playstyles tend to lean better towards objective games because that objective games involve pushing and moving around the map more, and Slayer kind of is more sitting back. But the fact that it was Warlord Slayer, where it's a little more hectic and you can't really, you can't sit back, so to speak, on Warlord. That's not really an option because it's so small. That definitely lended its hand towards WinterFox ended up being able to pull out the Slayer, and I believe they ended up winning 50 to something in the low 40s, I believe. It was close, but it wasn't that close. And on top of that, EG had host because they were the higher seed. So for them to drop the game on host was a surprise, to say the least. But props to WinterFox. Like I said, they seem legit. I am super excited for Indy and to see how it's all going to play out on LAN when it gets to that point. And I hope I can hopefully get out there and see the tournament in person because it's going to be
awesome.
It's going to be fun, to say the least.
So is would you call this EG being dethroned?
I wouldn't say they were dethroned just because none of the teams had practiced, really. Like, everyone we had talked to, more or less, and everyone that I saw streaming, up until either Friday or Saturday was the first time they had picked up Halo in a couple weeks, more or less.
Yeah, when the hotfix came, basically.
And it's the first time, at least, that they had practiced in a couple weeks as a team. Like, some of the streamers may have been playing here and there, but they haven't practiced. So for me to say that EG's dethroned, I think is a little too quick, but it definitely shows me that WinterFox is legit. I will say that with Arcanum, it's definitely pushing them in the right direction, assuming they can keep it up when when the LAN rolls around, and hopefully Landa doesn't show up. But I would say EG is still the number one team, but the margin of skill between the two, or even between the top 4, is getting closer.
Yeah, and I think that's fair to say that yeah, it's fair to say that they're still the number one team, and it's probably unfair to say that they're not. So I think EG is still definitely the number one team, but it did show that they're vulnerable. They're not unbeatable, and that, like you said, these other teams are a lot closer than maybe we previously thought.
Yeah, for sure.
So then the finals didn't get to last too long. Ended up being only one game, which WinterFox won, and then Denial had a lot of internet issues. Chig was being hit off. So we'll leave that at that. But they ended up deciding to split first and second prize money, which was good for WinterFox to do that because they would want the same thing the other way. But because WinterFox was winning when they had to forfeit the rest of that matchup, WinterFox got all of the first place prize points, and then Denial got second place points, which ended up actually in the total standings changing nothing. But it did bring WinterFox within 25 points of Cloud9 and the number 3 seed. So if WinterFox outplaces Cloud9 in the next online cup, I think they're gonna become the number 3 seed.
Yeah, I think the big thing here, when they were trying to figure out the, how they were going to settle, I guess, the finals, money's money. Obviously, if you don't get to finish the series, it's unfair to give one team the money over the other, so I can see them splitting it. But obviously, with Denial, we'll discuss the points in just a second. With Denial coming off a second-place finish, in WinterFox, a fourth-place finish, the difference between those 2 points are like 200 or something like that, 200, maybe 300 points. So for
between fourth and second,
or yeah, it's either, I think it's like 200 points. Like it's quite a big jump because I know the way the points.
Only on online, first place gets 150, so second place gets 100, and fourth gets 50. So
what
it
do they get at
points.
Tournaments?
At tournaments.
Yeah, because
at tournaments, yeah, it's between fourth and second is 120 or 225.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like it's a big drop off as they start going down. So Denial has more or less a comfortable second place spot, and they're not really, gonna catch Evil Geniuses most likely, and they probably know that unless they have a big LAN, they're not gonna catch them through the online play. But for WinterFox, who was kind of lower, is closer to Cloud9, CLG was kind of on their heels, the points mattered to them. Yeah, obviously. Yeah. So that's clearly why I think the points went in that direction where they took first and Denial took second. And I think Denial kind of realized the same thing, that they didn't need the points as badly as WinterFox did. So that's probably it makes sense that it played out in the way it did. And it is nice, like I said, it's nice to see that they split the money evenly between the teams. And it's also unfortunate that the players on that we had mentioned had so many internet issues, because it was a tournament for money. So it's unfortunate that due to circumstances outside of their control, they were potentially losing out on a payday.
Yeah, so then we broke down all the matchups, but the final results: WinterFox got first place officially, Denial second, EG third, Cloud9 4, and then the
CLG and Excellence took 5 and 6, and then Annex and Optic took 7
they played a consolation where Excellence beat Optic, actually. And then CLG swept Annex, I believe.
Yeah.
But Excellence beat Optic 3-2, and you'll hear a little bit about that from Coby later, so we can save that. But some close games and an upset there. So like you were talking about earlier, they could not just in one matchup, but over the season take that 6th seed if they continue to play well from Optic. So something to look forward to potentially. 5 and 6, Excellence and CLG. 7 and 8 was Optic and Annex, and then 9 to 16, they didn't do any consolation there. So it's Reality Check, other guys, Active Rush, Noble, Sunset Ballers, Darwin's Theory, Glass Ballers, and Averse Esports. So they're all going to get the 15 points for that.
Yeah, so. And I believe, just looking over that list quick, all of those teams will have to compete next week in the Amateur Cup to make it into the Legendary bracket.
Except for Noble. Noble was able to maintain their
Noble.
top 8 seed.
I forgot about Noble, yeah.
But the big story is Excellence now is tied in points with Reality Check, I believe.
No, they're tied with Noble.
No. They're tied with Noble, yeah. And they're 10 points ahead of Annex, who is the 9th seed. So going into this event, the Online Cup, Reality Check had the 8th seed, but they're now the 10th. They've been outpaced or overtaken by Excellence and Noble. The standings, we talked about most of them. Nothing changed aside from the Excellence bumping up into 8th, Reality Check down to 10th, and then we talked about the other guys in Active Rush being stuck kind of down at the bottom, and we're not sure how they're going to be able to come back. So they have 15 points, but
just the big things, the 2 big notes I guess out of all this is, one, super disappointing tournament for Noble. I'm not sure if they had a bad day or what, and I can't say I was expecting too much out of them, being the former Velocity roster, but I wasn't expecting.
Nemesis had that 24-0.
Yeah, we'll get to that later, but I wasn't expecting this. I guess I don't know. I guess you lose the first round of the Legendary bracket, and you're automatically 9 through 16. So it's kind of unfortunate, but for them to lose in a 3-0 sweep to Excellence, it either A, is speaking to how good Excellence is, which I think it kind of does after they beat Optic, but on the same side, it's very, it's speaking to Noble needs to step up their game going forward. Otherwise, they could end up losing their top 8 seed.
Yeah. Yeah. So we can cover our predictions from last week. I'm going to claim a victory here.
Yeah,
Just...
I'll give it to you, even though technically Denial didn't win.
And technically, I wasn't ever wrong because they never lost.
Yeah, but on both accounts, if you look at my prediction of EG and our guest prediction of EG, technically, Denial finished higher in second and EG took third. So if you look at just how they finished overall, I get you get the point for the week. You officially take a 1-0 lead in the guesses.
Yes.
Fade leads 1-0 and 0 over Phelan in guest. So
last week our guest was EXO. This week our guest is actually going to be Coby, so he'll add to the guest total with his prediction.
Yeah, I mean, we'll jump right into predictions. Coby predicted EG. He talking about
this is for Cup 2.
Yeah, for Cup 2.
Going forward to Cup 2.
He predicted EG just based off of how strong they are, how good they work as a team. And what's interesting is about this is if they get through the first round, being the 8th seed, they're gonna have to play them. So I was kind of surprised when he picked EG to win it, because it seemed a little like, hey, you're gonna have to play them, and I hope you have more confidence in your team. I know it's gonna it might be a long shot, but you gotta believe. But yeah, he ended up going with EG. Who are you gonna go with, Fade?
Who is unlikely to get hit off?
I from looking on the forums, I think a lot of them are in the works of solving their problems. They can more or less quit Skype, because Skype is the problem. So stop using Skype. A lot of them are going to switch to either Mumble or TeamSpeak or maybe Curse Voice. I'm not sure. They're going to switch. They're going to switch what they're using for team chat.
And then change their IPs.
And then change their IPs, and they should be good to go.
Yeah. But I am going to take... I'm also going to go with EG this time. I think that they're going to have a little bit more practice going into this event. And I think, assuming that they match up against WinterFox again in the semifinals, I think they're going to want some revenge to prove that was like a fluke, so to speak. Not that I'm saying it was a fluke necessarily, but I do think that EG is stronger in general and is going to go ahead and be able to get their revenge.
Yeah, it's definitely a strong pick. I don't want to necessarily go with EG again, just because you did and the guest did, and that's no fun if all three of us are taking EG.
Yeah.
So, I'm between Denial and WinterFox as obvious choices. Denial had a strong showing, that can't be denied, with their 1.5 place finishing. And
I think you should go with Optic.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen. I liked what I saw at WinterFox. I think they're gonna continue, get some practice in. So I'm gonna say WinterFox is gonna pull out the win this week. Again, they're gonna go 2 in a row.
The two-peat.
The two-peat. Yeah.
Oh wait, the repeat. There we go. There's a word for that.
Yeah. All right.
News ahead. That we got that. Oh, I was just gonna go into the news that we had this week. Yeah,
perfect.
The hot patch is the big story, which is fixing the play or the friends list glitch, where if you had a ton of people online on your friends list, or I think it was actually if you just had a huge friends list, which all of the pros do, because most of them add like their subscribers on Twitch and stuff like that. So if you had a big friends list, you couldn't join players very well, and so that was they fixed that apparently. And then the other news, what we talked about earlier, everyone being hit off, but like you just talked about, Phelan, pros are switching to TeamSpeak or Mumble or any of the other voice chat services that's not Skype, and then also changing their IP. So hopefully the attackers don't have that and are unable to really affect the tournaments from now on.
Yeah, it's the only thing I want to say on it is it's it'd be one thing if it was just a tournament for points, but it's another thing when it's a tournament that involves money. Because
Absolutely.
people are single-handedly controlling who and who cannot get paid, and that is, no one should have that right. And that's, I'm going to leave it at that. And like I said, I don't want to discuss it and make them feel like, they're getting attention. So we'll move past that. But to just touch back on the hot patch, I'm a coder by day. I do not understand how your friends list can affect joining parties and how the number of friends you have. I would love if, for some odd reason, if anyone at 343 is listening to this, please shoot me an email at 4shotpodcast@gmail.com. That's 4 is in the number 4, shotpodcast@gmail.com. I would love to have a conversation about how that all went down, because I'm curious as hell, and I don't understand it. That blew my mind when I found out that was the problem.
So, videos this week. What'd you see?
There were a couple. The first one was Ninja's Kilimanjaro. He had the sniper on Zenith, and he was at Big Tower sniping, and he hit, well, what's Kilimanjaro? 6,
8.
7, 8? He
Yeah,
hit 8, and so he hit 7 shots.
So I think it's 7. I think
Okay, then
Kilimanjaro's
he
7.
hits, whatever it was.
Something like that.
He got 7 headshots in 6 bullets, to say the least.
No, it was 7 bullets. He didn't get a double.
Yeah, he did. His third shot, he took 2 out with 1. His first triple slash, whatever the 4 is.
I don't think so. Because the fourth is the fourth overkill is what everyone was talking about, because he fired blindly through smoke. And I think he said it was actually an accident that he pulled the trigger for that one, but it hit someone totally through smoke, because he definitely fires 4 times. And then reloads.
I'll have to go back and watch. I thought he got 2 with 1 shot. That's why I thought, through the smoke. I thought he ended up getting 2 in 1 shot. I'd have to go back and look. Maybe you're right. I saw it back when it was first posted, so it's been a little while.
Yeah.
But needless to say, he gets all 4 there, and then as they spawn at Banshee, all 3 or 4 or whatever it is start running towards him, and he just picks them off one by one.
Yeah. For those of you that are watching live, this does get posted to YouTube, the podcast. So in the show notes, there'll be a link to that if you want to check that. That should be up later tonight or tomorrow. So you can see that video. And then one of the other big videos was the Nemesis from Noble had a match just in the playlist against some pros. I don't know who I think it was two players from Denial.
I know APG was there.
Yeah.
I want to say Snipe Down was there.
I think it was 2 from Denial, and then I think Snipe Down. And I want to say it was
one. There was an Optic person, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, it was an Optic.
Yeah,
anyway, whoever it was 4 pro players, and he goes 24-0 on Shrine Flag while running in 2 flags, pulling and running it in. It was pretty much a flawless game, actually.
I'm getting word from chat that it was Ace, Chig, APG, and then I think Snipe Down was the 4th then. But I could be wrong. But yeah.
That's
either way, I saw a lot of people posting. It was kind of a discussion on it on the forums, and some people were impressed, some people weren't. In my opinion, even if this had been against a bunch of randoms, no-name randoms, if you watch the clip, it's just pure dominance. And even, like I said, take out the fact that they're pros, and it's just an awesome clip to begin with. Anytime you go 24-0, and win 3-0 fairly fast in a flag game, and just have pure dominance like that, it's a good clip. And the fact that they were pros, granted, they're not a team necessarily, but it's still pros. You expect pros to, even when they go in and just randomly as friends, you expect them to do well and compete. And for him to just go off like that, it was super impressive. He hit a bunch of clutch snipes. Did some work with the rockets. It was just, it was an awesome clip to watch, and I hope to see, more clips like that from, other people who get matched up against them now that the HCS playlist is ranked.
Yeah, definitely. The last video I think that I saw was from Ryan Noob, and it was actually just like a clip from the Cup this weekend, and it was a a ninja that he pulled off on against Straight Sick. And so he's sitting in the hill, like Sea Hill on Lockdown, and which is top blue. And so he's sitting in the hill, and Straight Sick is pushing top mid on him, and he jumps from top mid to and Ryan Noob's just kind of like hiding behind the pillars. And right when Straight Sick jumps to top blue, Ryan Noob turns around, jumps, and ninjas him like right so as soon as Straight Sick lands. Ryan Noob gets the ninja on him, just jumping over his head, and then proceeds to teabag him for a while, and just shooting his body while still not getting shot while standing in the hill. It was a pretty nice little ninja. I mean, it was a short clip, but it was funny to watch and everything. And the best part of it might be Ryan Noob's reaction, because it was on Twitch. He has like his face cam and everything, and he's like, oh, going crazy. It was pretty good. And
Yeah.
we'll link that one as well.
Yeah. And it just reminded me when WinterFox was playing EG during the Sundays Online Cup. Randa had the sniper, and he sniped down, and I was watching Snipe Down stream at the time, and after it happened, Snipe Down's just like, he made some sort of comment along the lines of, shut up, Randa, I've seen you snipe on land, or something along those lines. It cracked me up, along with his chat started cracking up too. It's
good that they can still have a little fun with that.
Yeah, it was
just
it was,
in general.
It's funny to see Snipe Down take the shot at him. Clearly he was a little frustrated. So it was a fun jab.
Yeah, definitely. We do have a tip trick of the week. It's a little bit longer, and I know we've gone a little while. I don't know, do you want to kind of hold off on this one until next week?
I mean, do you have a better one to?
I don't have anything real short, but yeah, we can go into this. So generally, we're just going to be the discussion is our tip of the week or whatever. Is when to be sneaky and when to be aggressive. And it's different situations. It's all situational, really. But there's times when you're going to definitely want to try and be sneaky, and times when you don't. For instance, like one that I'm thinking of is on Shrine, whether it's more so in flag. Like if you're like in a spawn trap kind of, and you get the spawn that's like right now, like almost in Walshy. Sometimes you can be sneaky and get underneath the car and escape out through their courtyard without being seen. In which case, that gives you time to get behind people and disrupt their setup. So that's one time that off the top of my head that you can be sneaky. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, that's one time for sure. Another time, the one that jumps out of my mind on Shrine is Bomb. For when to be sneaky, because it seems like, at least when you play online, I can't count the number of times I've had someone sneak across when we've been 4 up and plant the bomb, and we were all pushed up and we couldn't get back to stop it. So the big thing on Shrine is if you have 3 or 4 dead, do not be sneaky. I've played with people who just, they're like, oh, 3-4 dead, let me get the bomb and casually go to street and into their hut. No, if you have 3-4 dead, you grab that bomb bottom, or in mid, and you just juggle it straight up the middle to the plant. They know it's coming. Yeah. There's no point in trying to be sneaky. If they're all spawning rocks, they obviously know you're not going to be going through rocks. You're going to be going through shotgun. So you're not really going to be sneaky to begin with. So you just want to get the bomb as quick as possible to that plant, drop it, slay, and hopefully then plant it.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest mistakes a lot of people make is not being aggressive with the objective. And I think actually, whether it's Coby or Pistola or any of the AM teams that I've talked to have really emphasized that as one of their weaknesses is being aggressive with the objectives. And so it's just making that a priority. So when you get 3-4 dead, like you said, grab the bomb. Somebody grab it. You can't just, it doesn't do you any good to just sit there and kill, because eventually they're going to break out and then you had nothing to show for it. So, yeah. So that's with that. Obviously, if you have camo and stuff on Warlord, you're going to be sneaky. Try and grab that shotgun if you can, and then you have a lot more free reign to be kind of float between top mid and any of the plats and the boxes are right around. So you might as well stay in the middle of the map where you're not going to be seen as easily. Obviously, there's times to go into the base and stuff. you can, like, if they're holed up in their base and you're trying to plant the bomb, you can get in there and disrupt it without them seeing you. But in general, like, you just have a lot more options. The whole map opens up because you can go out in the open and not be seen, really. So
Yeah.
it's
Um,
almost like be aggressive through being sneaky. Like, you're automatically sneaky because you have the camo, so be aggressive with it, in my opinion. Try and you can put yourself out in the open more, and you like cross what would normally be uncrossable terrain
yeah,
almost.
I would say
So
if you have camo with shotgun, the big thing is, for the most part, is you're gonna, like you kind of said, you want to be in the middle of the map, roaming low. A lot of times off spawn, players don't look low; they look to the other flags, the other bases, top mid. So if you're kind of roaming low, that's,
that's
you're
true.
not going to be seen by anyone. I mean, you have camo to begin with, so you're tough. It's tough to see you anyways, but being down below is going to help you that much more, and you're going to catch those people who come off spawn and are trying to push to one of the flags. You're going to be able to catch them. And then if you don't have that shotgun, that's when you're going to want to I would say either sit top mid, or then that's when you're going to want to kind of roam the outside of the map more or less, where you can get your BR on a lot of people, and people are going to still have trouble seeing you, and you can get away pretty quickly because of the camo.
Hmm. Definitely. And then in general, I think with being sneaky, uh, the goal is if you can flank. It's all about flanking, but you're not going to be able to do a lot by yourself. So if you flank two people, you better have like a rocket launcher or a grenade if you plan on killing both, because you're not going to be able to out BR both of them, because they'll be able to turn around and kill you. Um, Presumably, I mean, if they're decent players, like, two people can turn around and respond to you faster than you can kill both of them. So that's when you want to use your teammates. Like, you want to be talking to them and have your teammates push and start putting pressure on those players at the same time that you're flanking, because that's what's going to allow you to get those double kills without losing anybody in your team and really make differences in games.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I guess, like, I don't know. The big thing I would just say is, if you're gonna flank, especially I see it. Shrine and Lockdown are really the two flank maps when it comes to Slayer. You can't really flank on
Yeah,
Warlord all that much, but
not
if
really.
you get someone who can get across, make sure that you're, as a team, are coordinating so that they don't push alone and either push too early or push too late. You want to make sure your team is, basically, you want your whole team engaging in some sort of battle of BRs or nades, so that the other team is losing shield and off foot, and don't expect that last person to come from behind and start cleaning up the kills.
Yep, definitely. Um, our question of the week, just a general one. Um, Traditionally, a Halo team is made up of two Slayers, an objective player, and a support player, or in theory at least. Do you think that's something that's still true today? Like, do you think
Um,
these top teams right now are kind of based that way or made up that way?
See, I don't know. Some of them definitely are, and some of them definitely aren't. I don't think it's necessarily needed anymore like it was back in H2. Back in H2 and H3, that is exactly what every team was, more or less. That is how you had the team set up. Those were the roles. It's kind of like League of Legends, how you're gonna have your top, your mid, your jungle, your bottom, and your support, and it's everyone knows what those roles are. You know what the meta is, and that's what the meta was for Halo back in Halo 2 and Halo 3. Nowadays, we're seeing a lot of different combinations of teams, and it's Halo 2 anniversary kind of plays a little bit slower than Halo 2 did. So that meta isn't necessarily as important. We're seeing, rosters like WinterFox where there's not, I mean, I don't know. I don't when I think WinterFox, I don't think of any of them being the big slayers. I
Maybe
guess,
nated.
yeah, but if you watch their gameplay, he is the objective player now. He is the
No,
main
yeah, he's
objective
evolved
player.
his game a lot.
So it's just like, who are the slayers on the team if it's not Nated? Because Nated's clearly kind of become the objective player. I'm not sure if that's intentional or not, but every time I see stats, he's always up there in objective play. So I'm not sure if that team even has a slayer to begin with. And then you look at a team like C9 where it's almost all slayers. It's like that team is very, between Fear itself, Hysteria, and C9, or not C9, Pistola, that team is a powerhouse when it comes to Slayer games, and they usually win their Slayer games, so it kind of shows through. And then you have EG, who I think does have the classic roster setup. They have Snipedown and Roy as your Slayers, Lunchbox is your objective, and Lethal's playing that support role. Lethal, he doesn't always go positive. He doesn't always have the best stats, but he's clearly an important part of that team. Otherwise, he wouldn't be there. He's clearly, he's doing something to set the team up for success, and it shows because they win so much. And clearly, if he doesn't have the stats, he's got to be doing something, and he seems to be that support player. So, all that being said, I don't know. I don't think that meta necessarily holds true, or it's not a meta that has to be, so to speak. That meta can definitely work, but it's no longer the only option. You can have teams of various skill sets all have success. And like I said, with Cloud9, they're very Slayer-oriented, and they win their Slayer games. With WinterFox, they're kind of an objective team, and they win a lot of objective games. And though both those organizations struggle with the opposite ones because, they're not built for that necessarily, but they work on it, and they're obviously getting better. So, yeah, I guess it's not necessarily the go-to anymore, but it could still work.
Yeah, and I think the big reason why it's not necessarily the go-to anymore is because I think that the player base has evolved almost. Like all the players are so much better now and so skilled. Like they're so experienced. For the most part, there's a few newcomers like Randa and Contra, Spartan, Shooter, like some of those guys, but like the top 8 is like, or top 6 at least, is generally filled with like people that have been around for a while. And I think everyone has just gotten so good now and so used to each other and everything that you don't need that it's not like anybody's like, oh, I am the objective player. That's all I do. And then the Slayer's like, no, I don't touch objective. I think everyone's just kind of like gotten so much better individually, like, and made their whole game like a lot more well-rounded, that it all just comes down to communication and like an understanding. So like the rosters that mesh well aren't necessarily, like you said, like all like it doesn't have to fit that, because like you said, Cloud9 is like has a lot of Slayers, and then WinterFox has a lot of objective quote unquote players, and you can even say the same about EG has a lot of objective players. Like I mean, even Snipedown does quite a bit of objective for being, such an amazing Slayer. And Roy is always right in and around the objective, even if Lunchbox is grabbing it quite a bit. So I think it's just about the teams that are successful don't fit a specific mold. It's just players that work well together and understand what their teammates are going to be doing. So that's my thoughts on it. I just think in general, everything's got to the point that you don't need that. You don't have a fallback on that because everyone does everything now.
Yeah, for sure. Like you said, a lot of these pro players have been playing for years. I mean, Halo 2 came out in 2005?
2004?
2000?
2004. 2004.
Oh, jeez.
Late, like November or something like that.
Oh, I'm old. Yeah. And so a lot of these players, they came out, some of them came on during H2, some of them H3. And so they've been playing
for Halo 1.
Yeah, some of them Halo 1 and with Ogre and stuff like that. So it's just like some of them have been playing for 10 plus years or 8 plus years or what have you. So back when they first came on the scene, without the experience, they're going to tend to stick to one role. But now that it's, they've played so much Halo for so long, like you said, a lot of them can do pretty much whatever they want. And, as long as the team is meshing, they're going to do well.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, then. I believe that will do it for this part of the podcast. We're going to move into the closing segments. I do want to say, first and foremost, anyone in the watching live right now, please stick around. And we have an interview with Coby of Excellence, who are now the 8th seeded team, officially pro status. Rip Suds, their pro status did not last long. But, Coby was awesome. It's great to get someone that you people might not necessarily know of or heard much of to talk to him and get some information from him and get him out there. And like I said, I expect the team in general, to be doing well, and you're going to be seeing them in the future. So it's a good interview to get to know them now going forward.
Yeah, absolutely. So just want again, thanks for watching. Shout out to some of the guys on our stream today, Chroma, EXO. Who else we got in here right now?
Penexel's talking a bunch.
Yeah. So shout out to you guys that are contributing in chat. We try and watch it. Sometimes we aren't always looking over at it. But yeah, we do appreciate you guys being here and communicating with us throughout the stream. So
yeah, and I shout out to Chroma for giving us a question to talk about for next week. So I appreciate not having to do as much work. So that's much appreciated on my end.
Yeah. You can catch me at Fadey Fade, like it shows there on the stream. I don't tweet a ton, but I do always tweet out when we're going live, things like that. And then I retweet a lot of stuff. So if you aren't following all the pro players, I'll retweet stuff that they're doing. So you can follow me there just to know exactly when we're going to go live. It's generally right around this time, but if it changes, you can catch it there.
Awesome. I am Phelan, Fail3N. Follow me on Twitter. If you're here now, obviously you know what my Twitch is. If not, follow me on Twitch. They're both Phelan, as I mentioned earlier. Fail3N. If you have any questions or comments or anything along those lines that you want to tell us, questions you want us to discuss in the future, please shoot us an email at 4shotpodcast@gmail.com. That's 4 is in the number 4, shotpodcast@gmail.com. It would be much appreciated. We'd love to hear from you guys. Feel free to tweet us if you have any questions or anything along those lines or anything you wanted to discuss. Pretty much, if you want to say anything and you weren't here live to say it, we'd love to hear from you. So, we're hoping to make this show as best as possible, and through your guys' feedback, we're slowly improving. And like I said earlier, we're gonna have another guest interview with Coby. It's not a thing we're planning on doing on a regular basis, but just kind of as they come up, we'll throw these on to the end of our casts and include them in YouTube and iTunes. The interviews with pro players for your guys' enjoyment. Hopefully, you guys enjoy those. I think that's about it.
Yeah, definitely. So I don't think so. Yeah. Right. Enjoy the interview with Coby, guys.
Yeah, for sure. Enjoy the interview. He's a super 18, so to me that's super young, upcoming player, yeah. And like I said, excellence. They showed tough this week, and they definitely have a bright future. Thanks for listening, guys, and stick around for the interview. Nope, that's not it. Welcome to 4-Shot Podcast Special Interview Edition, where we have special guest Coby of Excellence. Welcome to the podcast, Coby.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for stopping by. And no problem. Of course, to get things started, Fade, take it away.
Okay, so these are our Halo-related questions, the normal stuff. First off, when did you start gaming in general, like Halo or anything else?
Probably when I was 5, I guess, but I didn't start playing Halo until Halo 2 was out, but right before Halo 3 was, so I was playing Halo 2 on the 360.
Okay, I know what you're talking about. That was me too. I mean, my friends had it, but I never got the normal
I played
Xbox.
It at my cousin's house on the original one, but that's all I really played on that.
Yeah.
Just to make me feel old, how old were you when Halo 3 came out?
I can't.
What was that, 2007, I think?
2008?
So, yeah.
8 years ago, so he's 10?
Or no, it's 2007. 2007.
I guess that would be 10 if you're 18 right now.
Yeah, okay.
Oh my god, I was a senior in high school.
Yeah. So I know a little bit about your background. Can you say like if you're comfortable with anything, like what it is that
Uh,
like why you're in a wheelchair?
Okay, I have a disease called like muscular dystrophy, so like I don't know all the science crap about it, but
Yeah, for
like
sure.
it's just like all my muscles are like messed up, so like they're not as strong as like a normal person, so that's why I can't have to be in a wheelchair because I can't walk on my at all
Gotcha.
because of that.
Yeah, I didn't know. That's why I couldn't didn't know if it was like something like that or like cerebral palsy or what it
Okay,
was.
yeah.
But so did it take you a while to build up like the dexterity in your hands, or have you
No,
basically just
that
always
was
had
always
that?
fine. Because holding a controller, it's not that heavy at all, so
Yeah.
that wasn't a problem at all.
Nice. So then when did you start playing Halo competitively, aside from just like,
I went to my
recreationally?
first event, like the Columbus 2009 event,
Yeah.
MLG, and then I didn't play at all. Like I didn't even know what Halo like there was MLG at all. My dad just randomly found out about it and like said we should go to this, and he took me. 'Cause I was playing Halo a lot then. I just didn't know anything about competitive. I was literally like a 33 in MLG when I went to that event.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
That's
So
an
did you
awesome
go
dad.
to, I think Anaheim was after Columbus. Did you go to that one as well? Because it's a lot closer to you.
Uh,
I think
I
there was an
don't
Anaheim
think
that year.
I don't remember if I went or not.
Yeah.
So I went to the Orlando event with a team, but we got second round.
Oh, okay. I was at that one. Um, Sounds like your dad supports you playing like Halo competitively.
Yeah.
That's really good. I know
It's
that a
really
lot
cool.
of people don't have that.
Yeah.
So they have to like try and convince their parents and everything. So that's pretty awesome. So then this excellence roster, how did you end up, or how did or sorry, the first one, like at the beginning of season one and season two, how did that whole come to play? How did you end up with excellence?
Well, originally, like, cause I didn't go to any of like, I didn't go to Iron Games Atlanta. I'm not Atlanta. Where was the first? Yeah,
Columbus, I think. Yeah,
I didn't go to the first two events in season one because the timing was just really bad. Because the first event was like during a holiday season,
yeah.
and then the second one I still didn't have a team, so I just passed on that. So we went to G4G, Gamers for Giving. I kind of
Mhm.
just wanted to go. Like I know, like we would have had to get like fourth or something to make it to finals, but I still wanted to go since I was been out of the season so long. So
Yeah, just
then
kind
I
of get your
just
name back in it and
yeah.
everything.
So I went with Wolfmane, Swift Kill, and Unlegit. So I was I teamed with Wolfmane at the last Halo Reach event, so we've been pretty good friends there, and I kind of just wanted to go with people I felt comfortable with, no matter how well or bad we did or whatever.
Yeah,
And then Swiftkill was originally teaming with Unlegit the event before at St. Louis, so and they had good chemistry, so then we just went with him. And then that event we could have done better. We got top 12 and we played like I think it was Elevate for top 8. We just came out flat that series. And then we wanted to stick together for season 2, but with Wolf with his job, he had to quit because he works for 343 now.
oh, does he?
Yeah.
It seems like all the guys from Washington do.
Uh-huh. Yeah, most of them too.
Um, so
And then
and that's when
or
Spartan joined you.
yeah. And then the next event Atlanta. Wait. No, Spartan was there. Never mind. Well, and then Swiftkill had to quit because he got a new job, like a big job, and he had to move and stuff. So he just doesn't
Okay.
have time anymore. So he picked up L Town, and it's so Frosty. We've kind of like been with Frosty for a while. He's like subbed for us a few cups,
Mhm.
and we always felt like he was a good player, and he did really well with the subs at G4G when he beat Noble. That was pretty amazing.
Yeah, with I think Burton.
That
Also
no
on the
that
roster.
no it was Nerdy
Oh,
and
that was with
Frosty.
Nerdy. Okay.
Yeah.
Um. Tell me about L-Town. I don't know him. I mean, obviously, I know
He
Frosty,
was on
but
Velocity at G4G,
okay.
and then he left right after that event.
Okay, cool. How long have you guys been practicing together? Like since
The
Atlanta? I
Cup
know
was like
there's.
the first time actually playing together.
Oh, really?
With Spartan, we only got to play with him a week before the event because Wolf, because of his job, wasn't allowed to play, and he was under assumption that he could play, but then they actually told him like the week before the tournament. So then it kind of sucked because we felt really comfortable with him on that since we played together G4G. So we've been playing together a lot, but then he had to drop out the week before the event. So that's when we picked up Spartan.
Yeah, I know. Like I think it was the one of our first episodes right before the event. I kind of predicted you guys to be one of the teams that could break into the top 8. Um, but that was with Wolfman, and then I was like, wait a second. I could have sworn I was talking about how Wolfman was on the team, and then all of a sudden Spartan's on the roster for the event, so it kind of confused me. But I mean, it seems like it worked out with him.
Yeah, we would have
Did
had.
it seem like he was ever really going to stay with you guys?
I could kind of tell, like, unless we like made it in the top 8, maybe, but like I could kind of tell he was gonna leave most likely.
Yeah, and just I mean I know he really the whole thing with Shooter and Ninja and
Yeah,
Ares and everything. So
yeah, I don't know. He really wanted to be on that Noble squad that went that event.
yeah.
Yeah, so then he.
Um,
Sorry, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
Yeah, so then he just went to Ninja's team again.
Yeah. I guess are they good friends? I guess I'm
I
assuming.
guess so.
Yeah.
I mean, Ninja does have a Spartan dog emote in his
Yeah.
I
in
didn't
his
know
Twitch.
that.
I think it got he took it down for a little bit. I don't know. Maybe it's back since they're teaming.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
definitely back. I'm not sure. I know it went down for a little bit. I'm not sure if there was a rift or what was going on with it, but yeah, it's back now.
So then, yesterday you guys ended up getting top 6, the number 8 seed now.
Yep.
How pumped are you?
That was incredible. I didn't even think we would make that. We were just thinking, oh, we were just going in like we really need to beat Noble this series. We didn't like think ahead at all, or this tournament. Yeah, so we beat Noble 3-0, and then we had to play Denial. The first game wasn't really close at all, but the other games were pretty close. Like we played them, Warlord Slayer only lost by like 5, and then
Yeah, I think we wrote down actually like 50 to 47. We might have been wrong though, but yeah, very close
something
game.
like that. And then we took the oddball, which was a surprise because that's probably or just in the recent EX rosters, that's been our worst game type.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's always good when like you're winning objective games because I feel like they probably take more teamwork. So I mean
Yeah.
that says good things about the roster that you have right now.
hmm I was really surprised how well we did because that was literally our first time playing together. We
Uh-huh.
haven't even played matchmaking together.
Yeah, it's been hard with all the
Yeah.
problems. But
I hadn't really been playing until they patched it like the day before
the
like on
cup.
Friday. Yeah.
Oh, hey, congratulations.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, when I looked at the bracket, Saturday night or Sunday morning, whenever the official bracket was released, I was outlining games I wanted to make sure I wanted to catch and watch if possible, and the Noble, well, your guys' match against Noble was one I definitely wanted to see, but unfortunately I couldn't find anyone streaming it, so I had to just wait.
Yeah,
for
my
the-
stream was messed up, so I didn't have it on.
Yeah, I think I went in. I saw that you were on, and I jumped in, but yeah, nothing. It wasn't showing anything, so I just had to wait for the bracket to update. And then I saw you guys won, which is what I was expecting. So I was excited to see you guys play against Denial. And then, I even wrote in our show notes for our normal podcast tomorrow how well you guys did against them and against a team that I guess half won the cup. We'll call it a half win.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And they did amazing at Atlanta too.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
played them really tough, and it was definitely impressive.
So then we don't know anything about the Optic series aside from that you guys won 3-2, I believe.
Yeah.
So how'd that go?
Well, we won the first game. It was Warlord Bomb 4-0. That was
Oh
pretty
wow.
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a big win.
And then they took the Lockdown Slayer. It wasn't really close at all. Like we just, I guess we just had to play together more on that map because it's really hard. Because I guess we just didn't feel comfortable. Like if so, we didn't. I guess we weren't sure who was watching what a lot of the times, and we
Yeah.
just need to play together more, and then that will probably fix that.
Probably didn't help that they spawned with red seed, I'm assuming, so
Yeah, yeah. Then blue is always hard.
yeah.
Then we kind of just kept spawning blue that game, so then we just lost. So we kind of just let them. We didn't let them have it, but we kind of just like started worrying about the next game.
Yeah, yeah.
Then the next game it was Shrine Flag. I think we won 2-1,
Okay.
and then next game was Lockdown Oddball, and we kind of just choked that one too. But
We got that game 5 win, so.
yeah, we won like 50-48.
Oh, really? What game
Yeah.
type is that, or
It
which
was
map?
Warlord Slayer.
Okay. So is
That
it
one was really close. Like there was a
Chaos
time where
Zone?
it was like 44-44, and we thought, because we were like up by quite a bit, and they were like
Mhm.
coming back, so we were
Yeah.
just, that was crazy.
Did you know, like going into game 5 or even just the series, that if you won and got the top 5, 6, that you would be getting the 8 seed?
Yeah, so that's really what motivated us that series.
Yeah. Did you feel the pressure going into game 5?
Not really. I actually felt pretty comfortable that
Too clutch.
during that game.
That's good though.
Yeah.
Um, what do you think is it that allowed you guys to finish top 6 like as a team where in some of the other events that you haven't? I think you guys finished like top 4 actually in one of the preseasons or in the PGL or something like that.
We got
But
like 5th in the like the first preseason, I think.
okay. But what is it that's allowing you guys to, finish in that top 6, do you think?
I guess we were just playing really well, and like we were just motivated to do well as a brand new squad. I
Awesome.
feel like a lot of squads play really well their first time playing together, so that was good.
Yeah, yeah. Is there anything in particular you think you need to like maintain or like keep doing to make sure that you keep the top 8 seed going through the rest of the season into the finals?
I guess just practice a lot, and then because we were communicating really well, so that and keep that up too.
All right. So what are you doing with your Saturday now that you don't have to play in the open bracket?
I don't know. Relax. Not have to wake up early this time.
Yeah. All right. So then every week in our podcast, we normally do like a predictions thing for the online cup, and we have our guests make a pick. So who would you pick to win next weekend's online cup?
I would say EG because I'm a fan.
You're not gonna beat him in round 1 or whatever. I think being the 8 seed, you're gonna play him.
It would
Yeah.
be round 2.
Yeah, I'll be round 2.
Right, round
We're
2.
probably gonna
Right.
play like Annex round 1.
Yeah. Speaking of what's it gonna take from you like to beat Annex, and then what would it take to upset EG?
Well, Annex, as long as we just play like we did this weekend, then we'll be fine. But EG, we're gonna have to. I don't know. We'll
Really
probably have to.
step it up a lot.
Yeah, we'll all just have to play out of our minds, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, good team. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
you're pretty good friends with them. I think I've seen pictures like going out with them
Yeah,
at the events and stuff.
I've known them since my first event I went to.
Oh, really?
Or the twins, at least.
Yeah. Yeah, they're good dudes. So is Towie.
Yeah, they're really cool.
So that was our, I guess, normal questions about Halo
Okay.
type stuff. So the oddball ones, these are just like kind of random. So would you rather live one 1,000-year life or have 10 100-year lives?
Wait, say that again.
Would you rather have one life for 1,000 years, or would you rather like have 10 lives for 100 years each?
of 10 lives, 100 years each.
All right. Would you rather be a Muggle, or a Pokemon trainer that can only catch Magikarp?
Magikarps.
Just to object,
Yeah,
is Pokemon a thing with your generation? I feel like that might be our generation fade.
I think it's both. I think
I'm Japanese, and they made Pokemon, so
that's true.
I guess
You,
that- yeah,
you
that
always
helps.
always Pokemon. All right. So if a turtle doesn't have a shell, is he homeless or naked?
naked.
All right. What's the opposite of a mermaid? Like where it's a fish top and a human bottom.
I don't know.
We don't know either. We're hoping you
We
can
didn't
tell
know.
us.
Fish maid, I don't know.
Works for me.
Are you the next mistake? Next big mistake?
Sure.
Taylor's. Are you Taylor's next mistake?
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't catch that one.
I tried to slip it in. Um, what? This one just got added. Has anyone ever called you the White Mamba?
Nope.
What
Well,
was that, Justin?
Kobe Bryant is nicknamed the Black Mamba.
Oh,
So-
gotcha.
Not
I know.
like the-
I know. Enable was called like he used to go by Black
Red
Mamba a
Baron.
lot, but and Red Baron, but yeah, he had an online gamer tag that was Black Mamba for a while.
Oh,
All right, so then Justin, you want to do the rest of it?
Yep. So we're gonna move into a segment called Snapshot, and it's just gonna be a little this or that type questions. Just pick whatever's whatever you feel like of the two. So first question: coffee or tea? Or neither.
tea.
Okay.
Even though I don't like either.
Pepsi or Coke?
Coke.
Winter or summer?
Summer.
Cake or pie?
Pie.
Pirates or ninjas?
Ninja.
Shower in the morning or shower in the evening?
Morning.
Jello or pudding?
Pudding.
And be a dragon or have a dragon?
Have a dragon.
All right. So that does it for the snapshot segment. And we're going to move into our final segment called Overtime, where we're going to do a BuzzFeed quiz on what Taylor Swift 1989 song are you? So I'm going to ask you some questions. You're just going to give me whatever answer of the choices you want, and we'll see what song you are from the 1989
Okay.
album.
Sounds good.
So
What song do you think you are?
Style.
all right.
we'll see if that's right.
So, what's your favorite sport? Sport, no thank you. Swimming, cheerleading, volleyball, baseball, track and field.
Swimming.
Swimming. Pick a color: blue, green, orange, red, yellow, purple.
Blue.
Which place appeals to you the most for a first date? My/his/her house. Doesn't matter where, as long as I feel comfortable and we'll have a good time. A picnic at the park, a restaurant, the zoo, or a movie theater.
The second. Wait, what was the second one again?
Doesn't matter where, as long as I feel comfortable and we'll have a good
Yeah,
time.
that one.
Alright. What's your best personality trait? I'm emotionally strong. I'm very friendly. I'm very self-aware. I'm proud of everything I do. I'm very passionate. I'm super unapologetic.
Passionate.
Choose a celebrity. Rihanna, Tom Hiddleston, Natasha Lyonne, Miley Cyrus, Shakira, Lady Gaga.
God, those ones suck.
I don't even know who Tom Hiddleston is.
I'm not sure either.
I
I'd
guess Rihanna.
Probably Rihanna. Yeah, I think I probably would have gone with Shakira just because she's
Miley,
dating.
guys, come on. She's
Yeah,
just being
right.
Miley.
Maybe back in Party in the USA days.
All right, which song are you most likely to dance to? Pink's "So What," Macklemore and Ryan Lewis featuring Ray Dalton, "Can't Hold Us," Nelly Furtado's "Promiscuous Girl," Whitney Houston's "I Will Always Love You," Blondie's "One Way or Another," or Jay Timberlake's "Cry Me a River."
Uh, God, I don't even know any of those songs. I guess Justin Timberlake.
There
Works
you
for me.
go.
Choose a book. The Fault in Our Stars. How to Be Popular. Harry Potter. Hunger Games. Seriously, I'm kidding. Or Lord of the Rings.
Harry Potter.
Pick an app. Tinder. Snapchat. Flappy Bird. Kick. Subway Surfers. Instagram.
Instagram.
I was like going to say, you better not pick Flappy Bird, otherwise you're a masochist.
Are you looking for a significant other right now? Yes. I already have one. It's complicated. I'm up for it if the opportunity arises. I'm not really looking for one at the moment, and I'm more into casual hookups rather than a relationship.
Opportunity arises.
All right. What's your favorite
Hear that?
TV?
He's late. He's available, ladies.
What's your favorite TV show? Gossip Girl, Veronica Mars, The OC, Parks and Rec, Dawson's Creek, Grey's Anatomy.
Parks and Rec.
Good choice.
Yeah.
All right. You got blank space. You like fast-paced
I'll
environments.
take that.
You're very self-aware, and you know more or less what you want in life. You realize you can't avoid mistakes along the way, so you just go for it, not thinking about what bad might happen. You live for the moment, for the experience, because after everything else is gone, the memories stay with you forever.
There you go. Officially blank space.
Sweet.
All right, man. Go ahead and I guess we can. We don't really have anything else, so if you want to talk about excellence at all, I mean, I think that'd be great. Just give them a little shout out.
Okay, yeah, I'd like to thank Excellence for all the support they've been giving us. This is the first time I've ever had like a sponsor for a team, and it's been great so far. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, definitely.
Shout out your
Justin.
Twitter, Twitch,
Oh yeah, Twitter,
anything like
Twitch.
that.
Okay, you can follow me on Twitter at Coby_Swift_EX. And I don't know, I stream at random times, so my Twitch is Coby's Too Fast, one word. And
Cool.
that's all I have.
All right, you can catch me at Twitter is at FadyFade. Should be on the screen for those of you watching. But yeah, that's me.
And I'm Phelan, FAIL3N, on Twitter, on Twitch, all that fun stuff. Thanks for stopping by, Coby. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This was pretty awesome. This was like my first interview.
Yeah.
Well, what about that one with Boss Nasty?
Oh, that one doesn't count.
And I guess best of luck. Good luck with your upcoming online cup and future tournaments. Now that you're officially a legendary bracket team, we you know, like I said earlier, after watching you play against Denial, I expect you guys to do fairly well in the upcoming weeks. So I look forward to hopefully being able to see you guys play in the future.
Yeah, thanks.
Alrighty, guys, that will do it for this week's podcast. Thanks to everyone who stopped by and listened, and thanks to all those people who are going to be listening to it on YouTube or iTunes. It will be on YouTube tonight whenever it gets uploaded, and it'll be on iTunes tomorrow night. Once again, thank you for listening. If you have any feedback or questions, 4shotpodcast@gmail.com. 4 is in the number 4, shotpodcast@gmail.com. And thanks for stopping by. Have a good week, guys.